My husband and I are struggling to agree on a charitable and effective way to discipline our firstborn. He is choleric sanguine, 3-year-old who is extremely smart, funny, courageous, and has a huge heart. One point of contention for a while, though, has been that he seems to love to push our buttons and challenge our authority. In my head, I know it's just the way God made him, and to a degree, he can't help himself. I'm a choleric too, so I can sympathize or empathize with him. However, my husband and I have a strong desire to raise a child who honors his parents, but maybe honor goes beyond respect. Whenever I am kind and patient with him, he totally ignores me and keeps doing whatever I am asking him not to do. I usually have to raise my voice at him or threaten to take a toy away from him for him to listen to me and obey me. It's pretty exhausting. Currently, our form of discipline is short timeouts between 2 and 7 minutes, depending on how grave the offense. Whenever he gets out of hand, is there any research to show that timeouts and punishment, taking away toys, work? Sometimes we see progress, but for the most part, it feels like we're constantly in a battle of the wills with him. Sometimes I wonder if I expect too much from my son and I'm foregoing a relaxed and nurturing relationship with him because I have unrealistic expectations. Many nights I go to sleep feeling like a bad mom because I lost my temper with him and did or said things I regret. How important is it for a toddler to obey his parents? Should I take a chill pill? First of all, I just want to say this woman,
she's so thoughtful.
She's so beautiful.
She's so
insightful into her son, to her husband, to herself.
She obviously loves.
Yeah.
She's
so well
really trying.
And it reminds me of just how difficult it is to have little ones. My youngest is 8. I remember this time. Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old, a 1.5-year-old. I have a 3-year-old. We're in it. So, okay. I think she actually hits on all of it. The first thing I would say is this. We have to remember that human beings we're developmental creatures. We're developing. This child is forming. You're working with a creature who doesn't have a fully formed brain. This isn't just like a little adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not me in duck-sized form. You know what I mean? This is a creature whose brain is actively developing and growing. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that controls inhibition, planning, right? That won't fully develop until between like 21 and 23. It doesn't finish until that period. And so it's constantly firing and rewiring and growing and creating connections. And so you've been with your child for a long time at this point. 3 years feels like a pretty long time. It's a toddler. So on one hand, the end of the question, like, am I expecting too much? On one hand, the answer is like, yes, always yes. Always yes. Like, but people are going to hear that and think I'm advocating for like no rules or structure, or no, children actually need structure and rules, and there should be discipline. But you should discipline as a parent, knowing that what you're doing is through repeated acts of discipline, you're allowing their brain to form and grow and create connections as it's unfolding. This isn't, I think sometimes we think of parenting as like, I should punish twice, they learn the rule, and then we move forward. And it's not. It's never that. It is repetition. Children learn the way we learn, by the way, right? Which is through repetition. And now you're trying to repeat something for a brain that isn't remotely fully developed. So that's the first thing. Like, keep in mind, your child isn't an adult brain in miniature form. That is a 3-year-old brain. And once you have a 15-year-old, you'll realize that, oh my gosh, a 3-year-old brain has such limited capacities. They can't think abstractly. They can't engage in long sequences of planning. Their memory is actually really short. Ask your kid. I can ask my 15-year-old.
Thinking about my son.
Yeah, think about.
Go get your socks. How many times?
Right?
Wear your socks.
I'm like, tell me what's the sequence? You're going to go up the stairs. You're going to go to your room.
Yeah.
So like, I'll say that to Lucia, my 3-year-old. Baby, I need you to go upstairs. I need you to go in your drawer. I need you to put your undies on.
Say it back to me.
Say it back to me. And she'll be like, go in the room, play princesses, find that. I'm like, no, babe, no. I mean, and this is partially because the parts of the brain, like that memory, the hippocampus, and aren't fully developed either. So we're giving them repetition so that they'll remember things, so that the hippocampus will sear it into itself. But that's a developing structure that needs time, repetition. So your child's temperament will relate to how quickly they learn things, their overall cognitive abilities, but also their age. So, okay, that's the end of the question. Are you expecting too much? On one hand, yeah. Like a 3-year-old isn't going to like walk around like, hello, mother, would you like me to clean up my toys? That's just not reasonable. But that doesn't mean you don't try to teach that.
One thing I found helpful is to never give my child an assignment I know he probably won't be able to complete.
Yeah.
So if instead of it's like, I need you to tidy your room, it's like, there's no way he could do that. So it's like, I need you to put your shoes in the closet. Can you do that?
Break it down into tasks. And by the way, when they fail, when I tell my 3-year-old, hey, I need you to put your shoes away, is that a task that's within her realm of like possible ability? It is. But when she fails, because she inevitably will, the first 15, 20, 30 times I ask her, to not be horrible. Well, you should be able to do that. I know you could put, it's like, she's learning. She came in, like, what do kids know? Like, they're literally learning everything, man. Yeah, they don't even know what they're learning everything, Matt. Literally everything. They're learning language. And when you think about they're learning language, grammar, where shoes go, how to treat people. They're learning how to think right. There's so much learning happening that when I say put your shoes away, and I think you're right, break tasks down into manageable pieces, but then expect failure, because that's what it means to be a teacher. It's to know that my kid's going to fail and to go in and say, okay, well, come on. Now, I don't let her go with it though. When she fails, I don't just say, oh, wow, 3 years old. I say, hey, baby, come on. What did daddy ask you to do? I asked you to put your shoes away. Come here. There they are. Okay, grab them. Take them up to your room now. When you're done, come back and tell me you're done, okay? And Matt, I might have to do that 10, 15 times. And then on the 16th time, she does it. And then on the 17th time, she messes up again. I'm teaching. And I'm not teaching you, I'm teaching a 3-year-old whose brain has limited capacities.
How do parents not scourge themselves as they seek to do this with their children? Because this beautiful woman, she's a beautiful mom. Yeah. I know the feeling of going to bed and feeling like I am like a horrible parent. But like that's such a vicious trap. I know. Because when you allow yourself to talk to yourself like that, you don't get any better. Yeah. You just feel more shame and you get more irritable, less patient.
Yeah. I think I don't know I think knowledge that doing that doesn't bear good fruit. Scourging myself doesn't make me a better parent. Going to bed, beating myself up. No, I think it's okay to go to bed and ask myself, where did I mess up today? And how could I have done it better? It's like an examination of conscience.
But like you are in relation to God, and so you're the child here.
Dude, exactly.
And he looks at you like a good parent.
Exactly. And think about how many times though, like whatever my toddler is to me, I
God
am
is
to God.
Literally infinitely
how many
beyond
times
you.
have you gone to confession for the same sin?
Yeah.
And I am screaming at my kid like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And God's like, you've literally confessed this 278 times. Like,
and you're about to confess it next week. It just hasn't happened yet, and I still love you.
And I still love you. Yeah. And he hasn't smited us, and he hasn't, right?
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe or you're a dingus. What's a dingus exactly?
Used to refer to something one cannot or does not wish to name specifically.
You don't have to subscribe, but if you did, I'd love it. You dingus.
Like the video. That's who we're using that one. Take one.